Hi, the date is May 11th, 2026, and I have spent the entire day being bummed out and with no motivation and kind of wasting the day on short-term dopamine. Um, which is kind of a bummer of a way to start a video, but I'm telling you this because it's something that a lot of people struggle with, and I'm still learning how to protect my motivation. Um, but in doing this today, I've taken some time to reflect and learned a few things. First of which is that, let's go back to the start. So you're bummed out, no motivation. A lot of people will just say, just do it, just have the willpower. And I think this goes back to the core of what makes us human. We have a very complicated feedback loop. We take in inputs, and then the outputs we make from them are amazing. So we spend all day watching, shows or doing other stuff, and we all have all this input, and then we need an output for it. But what makes us want to do stuff is that feeling that we will get when we do it, which is where the motivation comes from. We get a little hit of dopamine when we think about doing something that will make us feel fulfilled or good. And I think that's what you have to focus on when you're protecting your motivation, is especially your dopamine. Yeah. So if you're in a state where you don't have dopamine, you can use the things like willpower and habit to start rebuilding that system. But willpower isn't sustainable. It's a tool, like motivation is, and they support each other. But then you have habit, which habit's good in where you can repeat something with less and less energy, but you can also have bad habits and fall into bad stuff. And even with good habits, if something is just a habit and nothing else, there's no it's just something you do every day. It's not like brushing your teeth. It's not a creative output or anything that you're doing. It's literally, it doesn't give you that much fulfillment because you literally just do it every day. And that's the thing. It's kind of like a balance for something like a creative output that takes that motivation, that can't solely rely on habit. It also is at risk because it takes your motivation. And so I think the first step to put in place to protecting your motivation is build the habit of protecting your motivation. You can't build the habit of doing the thing that you're motivated to do, because then it's easy to lose your love for it. You can build your habits around protecting your motivation so that you can do the thing you love to do. And I think that's a really important thing. And I think when building habits, you have to look at what hole is being filled when you are doing these things like short-term dopamine. Because for me personally today, I was feeling super overwhelmed with work and everything else that I didn't feel like I could catch up. So, but the amazing thing is when my dopamine is hijacked like that, I can take this as a moment to reshape my habits as a way so this won't happen as much again, or I hope it won't. But as per my videos, I make them while I'm going through the thing so that we can kind of see if it works or not. That's why I'm making this video today instead of a week from now when I've already had this process, because it is, I don't know what is actually working or what worked or what I thought of, but this is just in the moment. So now I can take today, which is when I feel overwhelmed, I'm going to turn to that short-term dopamine and it's going to hijack my motivation, which is going to make me more overwhelmed. So now I can put a habit in place. First habit, I can stress some of that willpower. I can take that tool, which shouldn't be overused. It can cause to other problems if you overuse that willpower tool, but I can take that and use it to get what I really need to get done. And I can take another tool and maybe write down all the things I need to get done, my tool of perspective, and I can use those to kind of catch up a little bit. And then I can put in place a habit of getting those things done every day so that I don't get overwhelmed again. And I can learn that if I do get overwhelmed, not to fall into the habit of chasing short-term dopamine and maybe using some of those tools. Like I know it sucks because it doesn't feel good, but that's what willpower is, doing it when it doesn't feel good. It's that tool, which again shouldn't be overused, but it's good to use it when you do need to. So, next time maybe I'll use that willpower to catch up with the stuff and be in a better get myself back in a better situation quicker, so I don't end up wasting the day. And I had to waste the day to learn from that. And another good point is protecting your motivation is reflection. If you are going through a point where protecting your motivation is getting really hard and you keep turning back to short-term dopamine, there will be no change if you don't come out to a place and reflect, because it will just get worse and worse till you're forced into that reflection, I think. And you can use social media to synthesize connection. You can use it to synthesize accomplishment. You can use it to synthesize whatever you want. But if you're like me, it'll get to a point where enough is enough and you just need something to change. And I think that's where reflection is just so important, to get out of that. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to cover off for this video. It's nice to get out here in the fresh air. I made a lot of videos inside lately, but I just really wanted to come back to this beach where I've also made a lot of videos here before and just kind of talk through this one. But yeah, that's kind of all I had for today, so that's the end of the video.